Hey there, I'm Jen, founder of Polistic Pole Yoga, and today we're going to talk about 10 things you need to keep in mind when setting up your Polistic Pole Yoga space at home. Polistic Pole Yoga is different than any other fitness practice. This is the only practice that has combined the pole and yoga together with 52 poses all on the ground. So what that means is it takes up a little amount of space and almost anybody, any size, any gender can practice. Always encourage everyone to get a pole at home, even if you go to a studio and you practice pole fitness or pole dance. I still think it's imperative to get a yoga pole at home because you can practice these stretches that's going to help with your spine alignment, core strength, and mobility and flexibility that's so important, especially for moms and grandmas. We as moms tend to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, so we're going to get hunched back, especially for those that are over 50 when menopause kicks in and that estrogen level is changing. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date the next time that I post here. I post videos weekly to help you live your best life. We do pole tutorials, and I do tutorials in the kitchen so that you can nourish your body with healthy food that really tastes good. Okay, so here's the 10 things to keep in mind when setting up your pole space, and I'm going to drop this list in the description below, and I'm also going to give you a $97 free stretch into shape session in the Polistic Yoga Academy so that if you already have your pole and you get your pole space set up, and then you can get started with this really amazing session that's going to help you look and feel your best right away. Okay, so number one, what are your ceilings like? Are the ceilings over 10 foot or are they slanted? This is really important. Now, if you're going to buy the Amazon pole, it's only going to go up to 9 foot. I'll also leave a link down below of the approved poles that we have tried, tested, and approved. There are a lot of stripper poles is what they're mostly called. Stripper pole, dance pole. We like to call it a yoga pole, but they're all the same kind of pole. You can either even use a tetherball pole, you can home make your pole, but when you're buying a pole off the internet, you want to make sure and you want to measure. If it's an Amazon pole, that pole is only going to go to 9 foot and it's only going to go down just a little bit. So if you have really short ceilings, say you have 8-foot ceilings or 11-foot ceilings, the Amazon pole is not going to work for you. Also, even if you have 9-foot ceilings but they're slanted, the Amazon pole is also not going to work for you. You're going to want to get the loop-it pole, and it's in that link. The loop-it pole can also be custom made. So say, for example, you have a 15-foot ceiling and the ceiling is angled. You're going to want to get the loop-it pole, the custom loop-it pole, and we can help you at polisticyoga.com. You can even send me an email. I don't think there is a link for the custom pole on there, but we work with Loop-it very closely, and so I can help you process that and get your pole shipped to you. I pole exclusively with Loop-it poles. In my opinion, they're the best pole on the market. So you want to make sure, number one is ceiling. Number two is, what does the floor look like? Is it even or is it uneven? Now you can pretty much pole on any texture. Carpet, concrete, tile, any kind of floor is going to be okay, except for some floors, especially like old wood floors, they might be uneven. And so you want to make sure that it's an even floor. So even if you have to, build a subfloor, then you might have to take that into consideration. But having a flat ceiling or having the right angle mount of the loop-it pole for an angled ceiling and a flat floor, those are really, really important things. That's really the base of your pole. The poles are tension poles and they leave no marks. You don't need a screwdriver or any nails or anything to screw them in, but they're tension poles like a shower curtain rod. So you're going to want to make sure that your surfaces are flat and even. Okay, number three, is your space private? At the end of this video, I'm going to walk you around to my house here and I'm going to show you the different places that I have my pole set up. I actually have poles set up throughout my house. I have 4 of them set up and I have one set up out back, but I don't have it up right now because I've just loaded it into the car because I'm taking it out of town. Normally, I do have one on my back patio as well. You want to make sure that your space is private. Now, I know some people just have no options, and so they have to put it somewhere, maybe in the living room, the dining room, somewhere where it's not super private. But if you can find a room that you can put it in, especially for those of us that have children, where you can close the door, because this is about having boundaries and about having your 30 minutes of sacred time that is just yours. I even share my practice with my family, but first I do my practice alone. That way I know I'm being nourished and I'm being able to have my meditation. That's really what Polistic Pole Yoga is movement meditation. So having somewhere you can shut the door. I know dogs and cats also love it when you pole, and sometimes it's just best to even shut the animals out too. You really want to kind of shut out any distraction, unless your dogs and cats aren't going to be too much of a distraction, but I know the kids can be a distraction. So number 4, does your family support you? That's another thing. I know some people say, well, I can't put it in my room because my partner doesn't support me having a pole, or someone in my family doesn't support me having it. That is something that's really, really, really important, is that you have your support about your space. So the people that are living with you, whether it's your kid, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your roommate, that you talk to them and you get them on board with supporting you. So whatever you have to do, bring them over here to this channel, introduce them to me and say, hey, my friend Jen invented this really cool new thing and I want to get this yoga pole and I'm going to put it in this space and I'm asking for your support. And now give people time, because it is considered a stripper pole, and in our society, some people actually don't like strippers, and there's a negative stigma around strippers. And so it's really important for us to kind of be gentle with people if they have some negative stigma about strippers, to educate them. There's also people that have negative stigma about yoga. So it's kind of this interesting gap that we're filling with Polistic Pole Yoga, because sometimes people just aren't going to like it because it's a pole and yoga. But it's really important that we talk to our family, because I promise you, the more that you show up and the more that you share how it's helping you, the more that they're going to come around. And what I have found with my own practice, the people that haven't supported me in my practice are the people that are not going to support me in other aspects of my life, and those are the people that I have asked to leave my life. So that's something to think about there. Number 5, what does your support system look like? So maybe it's somebody that's not in your family. Maybe your family's not supporting you doing it. Come into the Polistic Yoga Academy, join our community. It is so important to have a positive support system. I know in the Polistic Yoga Academy, we cheer each other on. If one of us is working on a pose and we finally get it, everyone gets so excited. We share what's going on in our life, not just about the pole, but other things that are going on. And it's really like a mix between a 12-step program, community, church, and just hanging out with your best friends. It's like all of that. And I know even some people might have a negative stigma about church. So let me just say, it's like a community gathering. It's like good feelings, like the good feelings you get at all the community gatherings. That's what's happening in our Polistic Yoga community. And so we have that support system. Again, if you sign up for that Stretch into Shape session, you're going to be entered into the Polistic Yoga Academy for free, and you can try it out. And then maybe you'll sign up for our live sessions and join the Polistic Yoga Academy and become an official member. And then you can really have the support that our community has to offer, because that is essential to your success. Number 6, do you have space for the Polistic Yoga Poster? That's it right there behind me. The Polistic Pole Yoga poster has all 52 poses. Even if you're not a member of the Academy, I highly suggest you getting the poster. It really sets your space as a sanctuary, and you can see it turns it into kind of a fitnessy space too. And so it's very easy to see that it is Polistic Pole Yoga. All the poses are on the ground. Another thing, if you have kids, you absolutely want to get the poster, because I'm telling you, my kids have so much fun trying to mimic the poses. When my little daughter has friends over, they all point to the poses, they try them all out. Your pole in this poster is going to be hours of babysitting. Okay, so number 7, how do you feel in your space? So someone recently said to me, well, my private spot is in the basement. And I said, well, how do you feel about the basement? And she said, ooh, I don't really like it. It's kind of creepy down there. I don't really like hanging out down there, but that's really the only private space I have. So I said, well, is there some bedroom? Is there somewhere else that you could carve out? Just make a little nook just for yourself, even if it's not that private. And we ended up moving it into a spare bedroom, because it's just so important that you really feel good about the space that you're in. If you can have heat and air, that's going to be essential. One of my other students has hers in her garage, and it's great in the summertime, but in the winter it gets really cold, and she notices that it's harder for her to get to her practice as much when it's like 0 degrees outside. So I want you to feel really good about your space year-round. These tips are all about setting you up for success. So these are things I want you to think about before. I also have students that make their spaces beautiful, hang up art and plants and crystals, and they just really beautify their space so that they feel really, really good when they go in there. So number 8, how do you feel talking to others about your pole space? I want you to feel really good about your pole space. I want you to be like, this is the most coolest space that I have in my house. I love my pole space, but I want you to really even get your journal out. How do you feel about having a pole in your house? Because if you feel embarrassed about having a pole in your house, or you feel embarrassed about your pole space, I'm going to guarantee you right now, you are not going to have success with Polistic Pole Yoga or any pole practice for that matter, because you're not going to feel good about it and there's going to be an internal block. So let's go ahead and identify if there's any blocks in you now. That way we can go ahead and remove them. Okay, number 9, are you committed to showing up consistently? Now that you have that journal out, go ahead and write down how you are committed to showing up. If you say, well, I'm going to get the pole and I'm going to join the program, but I don't really think I'm going to show up, that's going to be your answer. So define how consistent you are, and that's going to lead to your ultimate success. And then that leads us to number 10. While you have your journal out, write down your goals for the next 1 year and hang them where you can see at your pole. Maybe it's get a new job, find a new relationship, buy a new house, buy a new car, go on a new adventure, have a baby, retire from your job. I mean, our goals can go on and on. I'm not just talking about personal goals like lose 50 pounds or get stronger or be more flexible. I'm talking about write down all your goals. If it was 1 year from now, 365 days from now, what do you want to achieve between here and now? Write those down, find somewhere near your pole space and hang those goals up, because then your brain will be triggered every time you see them with motivation. Defining your why is essential for your success. Again, I'm going to drop these tips for you down below in the description so you can use them in your journal and in setting up your pole space. If you have any questions about getting your Polistic Yoga pole space set up, leave them in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm passionate about helping people live their best life every day with this system because it has really worked for me and it's worked for people all over the world. I receive messages every day from my clients about how much this system has helped them, and it just makes me so happy to see something actually work. I tried many fitness practices over the years, and I've never been consistent with anything until Polistic Pole Yoga. These 30 minutes are really easy to get in once you have your why and your commitment and your whole life rearranged to support you in your success. It's easy to show up for those 30 minutes. And in the Polistic Yoga Academy, we have the community waiting on you to support you, the support that you really do deserve. We all want to be seen, valued, and supported, and we have that waiting for you on the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to take you and show you around where I have all 4 of my poles set up in my house so you can get an idea of where might work best for you. Okay, so this is a spare bedroom, and I actually use this as my office and to record our videos in here. I was just sitting in that chair there. So I have plenty of space to record in here. I know not everybody has a complete spare bedroom, but this is where I have my main pole. And then I have one here in my little dining room area in this little nook. I love poling by my books. I have like a lot of emotional attachment to my books. So I love pulling here and also being able to look outside. Here's one in my living room, in my little living room area. Again, I like pulling by my plants and it's nice to be able to look outside. Usually I have one set up outside on my little patio there. And I have one here in my bedroom. This is actually not a loop pole. This is the very first pole I ever had. This is a platinum stage. They're no longer on the market. But you see it's a tiny little space. So often when I first get out of bed, I will just come straight from my bed to my pole, and this is the first thing that I touch every morning when I wake up. Okay, so like I said, just make sure that you feel good about the space that you're in. Go over those tips. I'm going to leave them down below. And be sure to like this video and subscribe so that you stay up to date the next time that I post live here in the Polistic Yoga YouTube channel. Thanks for visiting today, and I hope to see you over in the Polistic Yoga Academy. You can get your poster. I'll drop a link for it down below on polisticyoga.com. You can also get the book so you can have the guide, and you can get all set up so you can practice with me and the Polistic Yoga community in Polistic Yoga Academy. I'll see you there. Namaste at the pole.